Hey everyone. I feel like in recent years, there's been a massive rise in the investor entrepreneur scene. Like the ones that you see on TikTok, where all they post is them saying something in a very motivational tone, and then acting like it's the most earth-shattering statement ever. And the first thing is that, one repeating characteristic you see in all of them is how they act like they're a one-of-a-kind genius that's so smart that they can teach anyone how to be rich. But then you fast forward like a year or two, and most of them are completely fallen off. Like they basically have nothing, or are a fraction as popular as they were before. They kind of have it coming, because they always promote themselves as being rich forever, using their tactics to make money. But then you start to look into the kind of work they do, and realize that most of them do shady investments or just fake their wealth. The only people that would really watch them is kids, or people at a very low point in their life, because they need someone they can look up to and give them hope, which I imagine must suck, then seeing them get worse and losing money. In this video, there's really only one guy that's still keeping it up today, but the rest of these stories are just kinda sad.
We all remember the fake gurus, the people you'd see everywhere online, telling you how to get rich, how to make it, escape the 9 to 5, and achieve financial freedom. But fast forward a few years, and the question is, where are these people today? Where did they
Killing
go,
it,
and what happened?
making millions, that's
The
where.
truth about where these people went is incredibly sad and dark. And to understand this, we'll start with the person who began this trend, Tai Lopez. Tai Lopez is a name that echoes through the halls of YouTube lore. He started this channel on August 27th.
I think I've seen this guy before, I don't know. He has a very stand out, deja vu face, where I feel like you've seen before in the
Some of these
past.
early videos really helpful and insightful. It seemed like Tai Lopez was just a wise guy giving positive messages online, and there was a lot of value in some of this stuff. Except while he was doing so, he'd occasionally sprinkle in his lavish lifestyle. Expensive cars, mansions, and success became integral to his brand.
Here in my garage, just bought
Yes.
this new Lamborghini here.
Yes,
Fun to
okay,
drive
I've
up
seen
here in the
them.
Hollywood Hills.
Attracting attention and followers. He'd even ironically upload a video titled The Real
How does someone start with 0.61 million subscribers?
and followers. He'd even ironically upload a video titled The Real Scam, Tai Lopez and How You've Been Lied To, foreshadowing his own demise. But there was a question in people's minds at this point. How did he live this life in the first place? Where did he get the money from? Well, before taking on the rich and wealthy Warren Buffett wannabe persona that we see today, Lopez used to run a company called Elite Global Dating LLC, which was basically Tinder, a solid place for men to sign up and find their next date. And
You
see
definitely catch STDs from a site with that kind of name.
set up a profile. You'd only have to pay the website if somebody messaged you. Unlike most other dating websites at the time, this dating site would pretty much guarantee you somebody out there was willing to send you a message and get the chat going, giving you a much higher potential of a date. And the website was very successful. But Tai Lopez doesn't speak about his past because this website was, you guessed it, a scam. You would always get a message because Tai Lopez and his team set up bot accounts that would show interest with a generic message that applied to literally anyone. To these messages, the user would have to sign up and start a subscription, and the subscription was very difficult to cancel, and so Tai would gain a couple of dollars from thousands of people whilst kind of doing nothing. Which is maybe why Tai preaches it's easy to make a passive income, because he doesn't explain you need to scam people to do it. Then things really took off for Lopez when he uploaded a video titled Here in My Garage. The video almost instantly reached over 50 million views. However, the backdrop of
God,
wealth and
dude.
success in the video did raise some eyebrows, with even some of his own followers accusing him of ironic self-promotion. But the video didn't just go viral, it practically set the internet on fire. The phrase Here in My Garage became a meme, a catchphrase. People parodied the video, creating countless remixes and spin-offs. The
Man, I wish I was a kid and saw this video. It would have made me it would have blown my mind whoa, that many cars?
Opportunity to cash in on it. So he started selling online courses on subjects he had no experience on. He felt that a little bit of research and regurgitation of something
He really was like the predecessor of Tate. What was it? Oh, Hustler's Uni, yeah.
rambling rants and manipulating his persona to feed off his own fanbase, and he'd sell these get-rich-quick schemes everywhere, with some of these courses being as expensive as $7,000. Almost every video he made going forward was designed to get people to take these courses.
Alright guys, newsflash. Most of these courses online are always the most generic shit you just find on YouTube, like investing or trading. I've rarely ever heard someone, maybe in the future you might have one billionaire or trillionaire that said, yeah, I started out by listening to Hustler's Uni or whatever. But right now, in the present, I've never seen someone actually pay that much money for kind of a course and then come out of it happy, feeling like they actually learned something. They always pure the same motivational stuff, you have to work harder, you have to that grind mindset. So it's just a scam bringing people who really want a good future and have money.
Rather than being actually informative like some of his earlier videos, promising that the course would bring a transformation to their lives instead. Once again, the information that Tai would actually give to those who open their wallets was information that could easily be found through free online resources, books, or alternative educational platforms. and the high price tags attached to the course raised concerns about the necessity of such expenditures when comparable knowledge was readily available without a cost. And to add fuel to the fire, he'd eventually just upload videos teaching the same things on his main YouTube channel, meaning those who spent thousands really did it for nothing.
Oh man, I hate that. Oh wait, no, I saw he had that Sun Tzu book, like the Art of War, and I was like, that's so lame. No, it says War and Peace.
Like Logan
That's
Paul would
better.
call him out on it, and his sales pitches.
And everyone wants to know,
Yeah.
Ty Lopez, are you a scam artist?
It depends on what you define as scam.
But then Ty Lopez would come up with his masterpiece, a program called 67 Steps to Success. And the whole idea was to break down the journey to success into 67 steps, kind of like a blueprint for building a profitable business. It's pitched as motivational training to inspire people to take charge of their entrepreneurship.
Who put this guy on a TED Ed talk?
$67, which does sound great on paper. If you could learn one step to success for just $1, wouldn't you take it? But like everything else he did, the course lacked anything worth paying for. Take a look at the Trustpilot or any other review of his courses, and you will see it's nothing short of a disappointment. On top of that, Ty Lopez has a promise of a 30-day money-back guarantee. Yet when you buy his course and you're inevitably dissatisfied, getting that refund is virtually impossible. They don't answer emails, and there's no simple refund request system. Furthermore, lots of users complained about how they would not be able to cancel subscriptions to his courses either. Doesn't this sound familiar to his first business? As one comment explains, the secret to his wealth? Well, that's the part you will eventually figure out as you fork out $67 for a tour of Lopez's home. But to be fair, this did make Ty Lopez incredibly rich, and he was smart enough to buy some pretty large companies from it. One particular company that stood out was Radio Shack, which Ty Lopez acquired in 2020. He had this pretty ambitious idea to turn the well-known platform into a decentralized exchange, along with its token and ecosystem, which he did in 2022. People who grew up going to Radio Shack as a kid wanted in, and it seemed like a solid opportunity. But it really wasn't. The crypto saga took a huge hit pretty much off the back, and internet personalities like CoffeeZilla were ready to take a deeper dive and expose Ty Lopez for what he was really doing. And it didn't take long to find the first issue with this new crypto approach. Starting with the white papers on orthodox formats, which read more like a collection of famous quotes from various thinkers than a technical document.
Most white papers or technical documents describe what they do, what these tokens do, like in math terms, right? It's mostly just numbers and economics. This has very little of that, very little math, and it makes up for that in famous people quotes from books Ty has read.
And for anybody who knows anything about crypto, this raised some eyebrows, as is typically where little disclaimers for scams lie. The white paper lacks substantial mathematical and economic content in the paper, which is more often than not the main focus behind having a white paper in the first place. So CoffeeZilla made a tweet thread explaining that things aren't looking legit here. I've been investigating this because things aren't adding up, and some investors are alleging it was a scam. And what he found was that it was pretty much all a huge scheme to run away with more money. In typical Lopez style, Radio Shack promised consistent 20% returns.
Ty wouldn't do that, right?
And 100,000 into the tokens. Of course, this never ended up happening. And fast forward just a few months, and to no one's surprise, the exchange failed, and the token price is down 99.9%.
Oh my god. See, he could have sold it right here and made... Oh, go back. He could have sold it like right here or maybe here. He would have made bank. My poor Ty Lopez. How could he?
But hey, this was Radio Shack's failure, not Ty Lopez, who made some good money from the scam token and then sold Radio Shack to somebody else. Lopez was smart. In fact, he was the first YouTube financial guru, meaning he did kind of write the playbook here. And so for most, nobody had ever seen these tactics before, especially on the scale he was doing it, which is why for the most part he's gotten away with it and still continues to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of people who still believe in him. And he does have over 2.3 million subscribers and over 800 videos to choose from, but he almost gets no views on these videos. The only views he gets anymore is on his podcast circuits. But Ty Lopez was one of the first to do this, and it works so well for him that there's now been hundreds of other finance advice channels popping up using Ty Lopez's exact techniques as a blueprint. And somebody who did this perfectly and really succeeded was Jason Wojo. Except he would do
Wojo?
this...
Wait, Wojak? That really pissed me off. He does look like the kind of nerdy kid you would know in school that never like stood up like, "Nyeh." and he promised everyone that he'd be big and famous when he's older. And now he's like, and now that he's older, he's still like the same height, like 5'5", but he makes millions. But neither of those like businesses he mentioned sound like, you know, good. They were all just basically scams. I'm surprised he actually got away with that Radio Shack business, just like fucking it over, but still like coming out with money. Even though he didn't mention like he barely gets any views, doesn't matter. As long as he's doing like stuff behind the scenes, like doing more businesses, that's all you really need to like keep going. I didn't really see the channel as like the main backbone of his career. It was just clearly something to like get his voice out there while he did other stuff behind, apart from it, you know. Like working with more businesses and like doing TED Talks, which I'm pretty sure he did, as I saw earlier. He might did more, possibly. He does seem like the kind of guy who would seem himself as a genius that has to like spread his intelligence everywhere.
He portrays himself as a self-made millionaire, claiming that you too can become one. Of course, he would do this by selling courses on how to create
I remember
successful
this guy,
social
yeah.
media marketing agencies,
there.
or any other of these digital marketing packages. Essentially
Man,
promises...
he's like underwhelming compared to the guy before him, because I'm pretty sure he was never that
Or his
rich.
course, a six-figure agency accelerator, selling for just $97, or you can meet him yourself for just $4,000 as an elite package. But what makes Jason Wojo even worse than Tai Lopez is the fact that he actually has no money. Throughout all of his videos, Wojo is just standing next to a single McLaren, which gives him the image that he's successful. Other than that, there's pretty much nothing else to see any signs of his success. You just need to take
I
the word
love the juxtaposition. Like, he had a Lamborghini, but now he has the cheapest mic I've ever seen in my life. I'm pretty sure this is like the cheapest microphone you can find on Amazon. Like, just like
for it.
dirt
And sadly,
cheap.
hundreds of thousands of people fell for it. But if you take a deeper look and really listen to what he says in many of his videos, and you'll really see he's putting on a facade of wealth. For example, in one of his videos, he brags about not owning a big apartment because he doesn't need one, and how he isn't spending money on a bed frame, sleeps on a bed on the floor, and even lives out of a suitcase. Which is
What a
probably why he's
loser.
never filming in his house, because he doesn't actually own one. Plus, why would he
Every single big scammer on the internet has to like every big scammer that makes himself look like an entrepreneur always has to like be featured in a podcast that nobody knows about.
realistic, yet showcases cars at every opportunity. In fact, if you watch 3 random videos that Jason Wojo posted, you can pretty much guarantee that he'll contradict himself one way or another. All of his advice is there to sound pleasing to the ears, but really could put somebody into debt if they follow through with it. He claims to have generated over $100 million online.
Generated over $100 million with paid ads. What industries were the most successful, you'd say?
It's been definitely coaches, consultants, and like local service providers for sure.
But that number seems to be thrown around at every random time he speaks about how much money he's made. On LinkedIn, it states his net worth of $3 million, and even this figure's huge. But he does seem to have a McLaren, right? Well, if you take a look at another video, he actually claims to own 3 cars, the McLaren, a Maserati, and a Range Rover. He then explains that you could own the car for free by simply renting out the cars on Turo and let the cars pay themselves off.
Here's how I drive my McLaren GT,
I guess that works, baby.
my Range Rover, and my Maserati Ghibli, which is a 1 of 5, 4 completely free.
1 of 5. Oh, he's a liar. Look, he's lying. Look, he said he lives in an apartment. What kind of apartment has this kind of balcony? He's a fraud.
Similar to buying a house and renting it like an Airbnb. But if you can't afford to pay the cars off and somebody doesn't rent it from you, you're stuck with bills. Plus, Turo is becoming less popular.
Oh, well, like he rented out. Okay, that makes sense.
Where rent is still parts of the car. Risks Jason conveniently failed to mention. And so chances are you'll just have the car standing and
That does seem like the worst possible like business, like passive income by getting like really nice cars and then like renting them out. Like the only people I could see renting these kind of cars, like teenagers that would just like crash into a tree and then yeah, you're fucked. Unless insurance, but I doubt that.
McLaren himself and needs to find bad methods to make it affordable. And so then how did he gain such a huge following with such bad advice? Well, the real answer is he didn't. Head over to his Instagram and you'll see an impressive 965,000 followers. That looks really impressive, but his average post activity saw under 2,000 likes and a handful of comments. Definitely not something you'd expect from somebody with 1 million followers, indicating that he might have paid for hundreds of thousands of bots to follow him, something he's admitted to after being called out for it.
Roughly 75% of his followers are fake accounts that Jason's likely paid for. The content itself.
I mean, there might be validity to that because my engagement's not that high, but who hasn't done follower giveaways? Who hasn't, like, I'm trying to grow my brand. Obviously, you have to have a lot of authority.
But faking his followers is one thing, scamming his own workers is another. According to ex-employees of his,
Man, that shave was shit. If you can at least buy like a Lamborghini, surely you can pay someone to give you a decent, you know, like cut your hair decently.
incentive structures, and according to 32 editors, just doesn't pay.
If you keep this up, one day you're going to end up in
Yeah,
jail
I'm
or
on
in
the
a
editor's
ditch.
part,
You
go
won't
on.
get away with this. 32 editors have come to the conclusion that you are a scammer. Only you can prove us wrong.
Jason used the old excuse that PayPal
that
froze
was
his
the part-
funds.
That was the part that pissed me off the most because there were just so many people working on these videos, like forced to watch all the footage, and they never got paid. God.
was getting audited.
But no matter what solution was offered, he either couldn't afford to pay ever or simply just refused. Something Jason seemed perfectly okay with because for him, all was going to plan and he was growing a business and turning himself into a brand. Whether it was all out lies, scams, and deceit, it didn't really matter. That was until March 2023, when Moist Critical released a video calling him out and mocking his genuinely awful advice.
But today I want to take a look at what happens when all you do is fake it without ever making it. You end up like this loser we're about to take a look at today.
Almost instantaneously after the video was released, Jason deleted his TikTok account and announced his retirement for creating viral videos. His self-help courses are still available to purchase. But
did he really delete his account that quickly after the video came out?
And it seemed like that was all from Jason, but he is still around with a YouTube channel with just around 8,000 subscribers and occasionally posts pictures on Instagram of himself and his flashy lifestyle. It seems he also has enough of a following to keep traffic up and keep making a living off of it, since just a week ago, he announced the Scale Your Ads tour, where he'll be traveling to 20 cities across America, offering the same old advice just offline this time. And while Jason Wojo's fame on the internet as a financial guru was short, he's still gotten away with it, something this next guru didn't have the privilege of doing. A man you've probably—
What a name. Great, hold on, go back.
Gotten away with it. Something this next guru—
Grant Cardone. Hell yeah. Nah, this guy gets it done.
Probably heard of before is Grant Cardone. Born in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Cardone's early life wasn't all glitz and glamour. In fact, he grew up in a lower class working family, making his opportunity to find quote-unquote financial freedom unlikely. However, Cardone had spark within him, a huge determination to turn things around. His first steps into the world of success were through sales. He had the charisma and a way with words that made him a successful car salesman. He took the opportunity and honed in his skills and understanding of the art of selling. In the 90s, he changed his career to real estate. He started with small deals and gradually worked his way up to more significant investments. Real estate turned out to be the goldmine for Cardone. He wasn't just acquiring properties, he was strategizing cash flow positive investments, building a real estate empire that stretched across various markets. And unlike some of the other gurus mentioned, Grant Cardone actually built his wealth himself in a solid and respectful way. So when he released his first financial advice book, people had good reason to believe in it. His main idea was multiplying your wealth tenfold. The 10 times philosophy, coined by Grant Cardone, advocated for setting goals and taking actions that are 10 times greater than what one initially thinks is possible, emphasizing the power of massive action, pushing into—
So already that sounds like basically huge risk, a huge reward. That's a very good advice to give to people that can just like lose all of it and be homeless at that point. I just think the idea in general, like someone being this kind of like wealth guru, I guess, like teaching people how to make money, it's kind of like, I don't respect it, but most of the time, even when they're not a scammer, it's so like making money is so fickle that I don't really see a point in giving people like advice on how to save money, because they have like so little that you really have to be lucky to turn like the little money you have like saved up to something that can actually change your life. Like I rarely see these people actually helping people that need it.
And his intentions were good, but some of the steps were so specific, and for many people the 10 times philosophy was not just unrealistic, but sometimes impractical for most people. Either way,
that's what you really have to be like you have to be like in the right place at the right time to get like the same, to capture like the same luck that this guy had, or people in his situation.
Success. And by the late 2000s, Grant Cardone turned himself into an internet persona, eventually making a total of 8 business books, 13 business programs, and promises of a way out of financial debt, each one seemingly worse than before.
Each one has to be like a copy and paste. Like there's no way you have like that much unique advice that you have to spread around on 8 books.
Because after a while, how much material can you keep talking about? This was when he would basically say whatever his fans wanted to hear. With Grant Cardone, it's fair to say his intentions in the beginning might have been good, but now he trips over his own words.
The person that has $236.
Invest it all in yourself. You're already broke. Don't hold on to $236. Our parents, they taught us to save money. You know?
Yeah,
this
100%. A safety net is one of the first goals any investor should establish with a fund. We recommend that everyone should save regularly towards some kind of safety net.
It doesn't make any sense. Save your money. Prepare for a rainy day. It fucking don't rain here.
I need to treat money like it's sacred.
However, the peak of criticism—
That's awesome. Okay, if you're taking like financial advice from a guest on Impulsive, you basically do deserve to be out on the streets.
When Cardone began encouraging his audience to pay exorbitant amounts, up to $12,000 for a 3-day event with him.
I'll never forget, these guys paid $12,000 each to sit in that chair. 3 days, I got to look at their ugly faces.
Now, the promise was to learn the secrets of becoming a billionaire. But the sad part is that those who forked out the in-person tickets and airfare just got to sit in front of him while he was live streaming the exact same messages to an audience anyway, something he'd eventually post on his main YouTube channel for those who didn't put a dime in. Not that it matters, because in his talk he claims on countless occasions everybody can become a billionaire, which if you do the math is obviously not true. It's all about the mindset according to Cardone, something he repeats with motivational quotes every chance he gets. And I get this approach. It's generally a good message at its core, because most people can achieve whatever they put their mind to, but the exploitative measures around this message just seem so fake. And it was this shift in Cardone's approach that caught the attention of CoffeeZilla, who in February 2021 released a video exposing these practices and calling out Grant Cardone. CoffeeZilla dissected the inconsistencies in Cardone's messaging, critiquing bad advice that he was actually giving. He pointed out the different ways Grant had learned to pretty much say you need a millionaire mindset, and if you don't, you'll fail, not giving them the practical ways to get that mindset, but just letting them know that's the key. And the video marked a significant moment in shedding light on what CoffeeZilla perceived as deceptive tactics within the self-help and entrepreneurial coaching industry, particularly focusing on the actions of Grant Cardone. After the video went out, more and more investors dug into Grant Cardone, uncovering his past, finding out that he was doing more than just giving bad advice, but was actually misleading investors, which was fraud. Suddenly, he was hit with a lawsuit, and according to the charges against him, Cardone misled investors through social media by misrepresenting the potential profits from his multi-family real estate deals. Specifically, the claim suggests that Cardone misrepresented the value of the properties involved, providing a distorted view of the investment's profitability. This legal action implied that investors may have been led to believe they could achieve higher returns than what the actual investment could deliver. Misleading representations about the worth of properties can have significant consequences for investors, as it may impact their decision-making process and financial outcomes. Cardone has swindled his way out of the suits, and they were eventually dismissed, but the damage was already done, and more people were seeing what it really was. Enough for Cardone to receive a warning from the Securities and Exchange Commission. For Cardone, it was just a slap on the wrist, and he still uses the same old tactics on social media today.
Of course he did.
He's still misleading investors by overpromising returns, downplaying financial liabilities, and not fully disclosing fees.
He's really proud of this goddamn 10 times the return. He had it on a hat, which fair enough if you want to, but then he had it on a shirt. There's no way it's that genius of a tactic or catchphrase, I guess, to put it on every single piece of merch.
He's actually a rich person, but the advice he gives is kind of fake and meaningless. Despite the allegations of being a fake guru, Cardone has mastered the art of self-promotion. After all, he does have that extravagant lifestyle he showcases on social media. He does actually use private jets, luxury homes, and expensive items of all kinds. And it is compelling. The appeal of this lifestyle, combined with his charismatic and confident persona, contributes to his wildly successful fake brand, which is kind of a dangerous mix. But if you dig deeper into some of the less popular gurus, they're truly faking their success. And if you're trying to show you're rich driving these expensive cars, living this crazy life will come at a cost. The cost that Fernando Perez Algaba...
I'm just gonna say this now, because if I don't, it's gonna stay on my mind forever. The best way you can fucking hook in children is just by having expensive cars. That's the best way. It really is dangling keys in front of them, because they love it. No matter what age you are, there's always one object that can always fixate you on one thing.
Could not handle, leading to some dire consequences. Just like others on this list, Fernando Perez was a self-proclaimed millionaire crypto influencer. Take a look at his Instagram with 913,000 followers, and you'll get a glimpse of his flashy lifestyle. He carried the slogan of going from rags to riches.
I want to see the stories, yes. Right, so Prensa, I'm guessing that's Italian for news, made of some language. Trading, profit, travel, have what? And travel again.
And you'll get a glimpse of his flashy lifestyle. He carried the slogan of going from rags to riches through crypto. According to Fernando, he used to be a measly pizza delivery guy living in Argentina. Go back to 2016.
He's Argentina. That makes me like him way more. Hell yeah.
He started trading different cryptocurrencies during the bull market. Here he made his first million and would document his success along the way to his Spanish followers. Shortly after, he would move to the US and establish a luxury car rental company. He wanted to show the world he was made of money and knew how to create a profitable business. The road was not easy. When I was a child, I also had a spare parts store and a car wash. I was even coordinator of graduate trips. I had to find a way to make money. Now I work doing what I like. But Fernando's work life was shady from the get-go. Despite having family ties to Argentina, Fernando deliberately steered clear of the country, choosing to avoid it at all costs. By the end of 2021, the crypto market crashed, yet he continued to showcase his millionaire habits. He even started a new jet ski rental company, something he claimed was wildly successful. In 2023, Fernando moved
What fucking mountains can you go with a jet ski in Argentina?
To Spain and opened up a crypto trading business with 25 full-time employees. People wanted to be him. After all, the garage he showcased looked like it was straight out of GTA 5. Behind the scenes, his life was in turmoil. While he was claiming to be a millionaire, running a successful luxury car rental company, checks started. He was struggling mentally and was under psychiatric treatment for an anxiety disorder. He'd lash out sporadically with those around him. And in July 2023, Fernando made his way home for the first time in years, and he started acting weird. His posts on social media weren't as flashy, and he held some cryptic messages with them. In one post, he created a collage of pictures with audio saying, "It's incredible how there are such evil people in the world, that while you're thinking of helping them, they're thinking of destroying you." In his final post, Fernando wrote, "Hello mum, I needed to clear my head as always, and from here, I'm realizing two things, that we can't escape from problems and that problems will always follow us. Well, if something happens to me, everyone is already warned." The post was made on July 15th, and Fernando would never be heard of again. On July 19th, Fernando was supposed to return the keys to the apartment he was renting, but he didn't show up nor answer his phone, so the owner of the apartment did call the police, but nothing was found. However, it all became clear on July 23rd. In a small Buenos Aires town, Argentinian children were playing soccer and noticed a large red suitcase abandoned near the river. Out of curiosity, they checked inside.
I saw that was like the bird's eye view of a car like crashed into a tree.
And saw a human hand. Naturally, the kids were horrified when they saw what was inside and reported it back to their parents, who eventually called the police. It was discovered that his body had been cut up into pieces and placed in the suitcase. Fernando was easily identified by his fingerprints and his noticeable tattoos. At just 41 years old, Fernando had been murdered. His body had been cleanly amputated. According to local police, the hit was done by a professional. An autopsy then revealed that Fernando had already been shot 3 times, indicating that he had died before the attackers disassembled his body. So why? Well, apparently Fernando was in heavy debt, and in the past few years, Fernando registered several companies of his own. Some had no tax identification number, and others were straight up fraudulent. Apparently he owed millions in taxes to the Argentinian government, which could have been why he fled the country in the first place. But an even worse case is that while Fernando was in Argentina, he had borrowed $40,000 from one of the most violent gangs in Argentina, not the type of enemies you'd want to make. And while police are still investigating this horrific ending of Fernando's life, it's an interesting point to be made on how easy it is to fake this glamorous lifestyle. He had a whole section on his Instagram titled Profit, but wouldn't pay back $40,000 to a gang. It's easy to sell the dream of crypto as you hear so many success stories. Fernando's was a fake one, but you can only expect somebody who calls himself the crypto king to be legitimate, right? Well, meet Adrian Platinsky.
That's actually awful. Most of the people that are like kind of scammers, they are like awful people, but I wouldn't say they all deserve like the same outcome as this guy would get chopped up. That is actually awful. Oh my god.
A self-proclaimed crypto king, who at the tender age of 23 managed to carve a niche for himself in the world of cryptocurrency. That meant he was financially free, living a life everybody wishes to have. And that's exactly how he became a social media sensation, showcasing a lifestyle that seemed to scream success in the crypto realm. Taking notes from other fake gurus, Aiden would flaunt his wealth at every opportunity. Not only did he have Ferraris, McLarens, and Lamborghinis, but he also showcased fancy living and traveling. By now, you know how the story goes. He positioned himself as a crypto guru, enticing individuals with the promise of substantial returns on their investments in cryptocurrency and foreign exchange. His lifestyle clearly showed he knew what he was doing, so Aiden promised them a 70%, 30% split on gains. That meant that if they made $100, then Aiden would take $30 and give the rest to the investor, a huge chunk. But to equal that out, Aiden also offered something more enticing. If the investment lost any money, he'd pay back the full amount. Basically, it offers a risk-free investment. He was so confident in himself that the investment should increase by as much as 10% every week. And somehow, his followers...
I've never heard of that. An investment going up by 10% every week. If that was commonplace in investing, everyone would be just fucking rich.
Took the bait and sent Aiden millions of dollars. This was in the boom of the crypto market in 2020, and it all started out well enough for Aiden to borrow money from Bob to pay Paul. He'd pocket his clients' money with the confidence that he could make more by trading crypto, enough to keep his investors happy, making it pretty much a Ponzi scheme. But things would take a major turn as the crypto market crashed hard, and he lost almost all of his money his investors gave him. By this point, Aiden had grabbed over $40 million from his investors, and remember, according to his agreement, he had to give it all back. He simply couldn't provide money back to the investors and claimed to have gone bankrupt. So then a full-out fraud investigation was made into how Aiden had been handling the funds. And they were naturally horrified to see him claiming that he couldn't pay back investors while living in a $45,000 a month mansion. So he was pulled in for questioning for over 5 hours. He offered excuses, claiming that he did make disclaimers and his failed investments were unintentional or the result of external factors.
Man, he looks like the biggest punk in history. That face like...
delved deeper into the financial intricacies, the facade of innocence crumbled. The investigations went further on, and it became clear he handled investment money like a Ponzi scheme. After going to court, Aidan Pledisky's lawyer said that the allegations against his client were exaggerated. He said Aidan had not actively solicited money from investors, rather individuals were drawn to him by witnessing his success in crypto investments since his teenage years. The lawyer then argued that the investors were driven by a desire to replicate Aidan's achievements, overlooking the volatility of the crypto market. According to Aidan's legal team, the responsibility rested on the investors to recognize the risks involved and acknowledge that a young Aidan might not possess the qualifications necessary to navigate such intricate financial matters. Basically saying, well, they gave money to a 23-year-old, what do you expect? That is despite Aidan sending his clients pictures and statements of fake returns. One of the men on the investigating team was Akil Hayward, somebody who apparently already knew Aidan. That's because he had invested some $700,000 with Aidan, and after finding out what he really did with his money, he started sending death threats to Aidan. However, Aidan didn't really seem to care and continued to showcase his lavish lifestyle. But then, in March 2023, a news article reported that Canada's crypto king had been abducted and tortured over a $3 million ransom. It was his father who reported the abduction that took place a few months prior, and his father would suddenly wake up to a call from his son and a demand for $3 million Canadian dollars as a ransom package. 3 days later, after further death threats and torture, Aidan was released with a warning that he had to get the money or else. At first, the news was pretty much brushed under the rug because nobody believed him.
It's not surprising because when you have that much money involved, of course there are going to be people who are willing to like kill you over it.
A few days later, he posted this video.
What happened is my fault. I'm not going to put the blame on anybody else. I'm not going to try to put the blame on anybody else. I feel humiliated. I feel disgusted in my actions. I feel disgusted in what I did. After 2021, I feel like a lot of it was illegal. All these guys that are owed the money, I'm going to do what I can do to make it right. I'm going to call each and every one of you individually.
Before things escalated further, 5 men were arrested for being involved in the abduction. Akil Hayward was one of those arrested. Akil and his co-conspirators pulled up to Aidan's house with weapons and forced him into the car. Akil, having seen some of Aidan's financial records, felt he was hiding funds during his bankruptcy proceedings, something others had been accusing him of doing. According to the bankruptcy report, there's only evidence of Aidan investing a total of $677,000, less than 2% of the funds given to him by investors. That meant Aidan spent nearly $16 million of investor funds on himself, renting private jets, going on vacations, and adding luxury cars to his collection. Despite making his apologies and despite nearly being killed for his crimes, he is still walking free. In fact, he's actually created his own Kick streaming channel, and in his description it reads, quote, "Doing what you love to do is worth way more than any amount of money," which is easy to say.
Hell yeah. If there's any person that would fit that description best, would be this guy. Man, that much money? I've been thinking like $1 million would be enough to like satisfy whatever I wanted. Like, why would you need 16 times more than that? I get that when you're 23, you do feel like you're on top of the world with that much money. But at the same time, surely you have to recognize how dangerous it can be if you fuck it over. Especially when you work with people that can get very aggressive when they when they see like a small sign of feeling like they got scammed by.
Say when it's not your money you're spending. And to no surprise, he loves to gamble live on stream, which makes you wonder what else he did with the investors' money. And the reality is, fake gurus will continue to thrive, not only because of their cunning tactics, but also because people want a way to escape society as they know it and propel themselves forward. So when a Tai Lopez or Grant Cardone pops in with the promises of quick success and transformation, it's always compelling. And in our culture that promotes instant gratification and material wealth over everything, these people are icons, a reflection of our broader societal issues, our obsession with wealth, our obsession with materialistic wealth, the desire to not work, and the constant pursuit of external validation. Because of this, there will always be a future for fake gurus, but time will tell who will be next.
Jesus Christ. I don't think there's ever gonna be like I don't think this like type of like personality online is ever gonna like stop existing. There will always be people that portray themselves as like the person who won the lottery in life and has so much money that they can basically afford to buy whatever they want. And I want to feel like a teacher, like showing people how to make it like they did, even though most of the time it is mostly luck. Of course you have to put in a lot of hard work, but if there's any business that deserves more luck than any other kind of work, it is investing, like most of these people did here in the video. And plus, even if I was in the position of most of the people that look up to these like millionaires, I would be so stingy with my money. I wouldn't want to afford the loss of like putting in like investing like they did. And even if I did, most of these methods that they describe as making money seem so abstract that I wouldn't even know where to like begin in the first place. Like, it really does feel like a kind of like a snake oil salesman, like selling this idea like you can like hail any ailment, so like, or get you out of like the financial situation you're in, even though most of the people barely have any money to afford to spend on these kind of like investments in the first place. So overall, most of these people does feel like a lot of scamming. I mean, they were anyways, but thankfully I've never seen, like, most people did end up like now making this big, apart from like the first guy, Tai Lopez. He seems to be doing well, but he doesn't seem to be saying the same shit he was before in the past. Like the courses where he made it seem like you can become a millionaire overnight, which you couldn't. No matter how lucky you are or how much hard work you have, you can now make that much money easily or get at the same level he is, without like making like a scamming business like he did. So yeah.